I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and with me today is my special guest who scored top 10 twice in the world, not team, but individual Carcassonne championship in Essen, representing two different teams, and currently the captain of Team Hong Kong in this world championship, Daniel Cheng. Hi, Daniel. Oh, you gotta turn on your mic back on.
Oh, yes, yes. So we have a bit of problem with the mic. Yes, hi everybody. Welcome here on board. Yes, we are going to watch the Team China and Team Japan's.
Uh,
So what
Oh yeah, yeah. What I wanted to say to our viewers is that I think some of you will be more familiar with you by the screen name LSC on Board Game Arena as well. I know for some viewers it's easier to match the screen name rather than the actual name. So yes, we are indeed watching the quarterfinal, China versus Japan. This is one of the four quarterfinals today. Later, Romania versus Latvia. I hope somebody's going to stream this. RCP versus France. And later, I'm going to stream Portugal versus Spain late this European evening. Interestingly, these four matches have quite an interesting geographical spread. So here in this pair we have we're going to decide who's the best Eastern European team. Here we're going to decide who's the best Western European team, or the best Iberian team to be specific. And here we're going to decide who's the best East Asian team. So speaking about this, Daniel, are you familiar much with the Chinese and Japanese players this year? And regardless of the answer to that question, who do you think will win today?
I think the China team has a better yellow. I've checked that before, and I think they are well prepared and analysis of their their opponent's team. But I think the Japanese team is also a very strong team. Yeah, because obviously they have win the last few championship. Yes, on but in general, I think I will bet on the China team.
Mm-hmm. Well, the World Cup calculator, by the way, that's something that's also Daniel created. Oh wait, where did it go? Oh yeah, there we go, there we go. Here it is. Here it is. I think you should be seeing on the screen now that indeed, if we look at just at the ratings and nothing else, China is slightly favored with a 54% win probability. So on table one, the player with the screen name Self-Evident 2, who's also an insanely strong Azul player, by the way, he seems to be in great shape right now. And I think on table one, he's the heavy favorite against the Japanese player with the screen name Yanochi Traps. And on table two, which is probably going to be the most interesting duel, and that's the one we're going to follow at the start, the hero of the move of the week of the first week of the championship, Dr. Taihan, will be playing against the strongest player on the Japanese team with the screen name Keith Rum. So both, of course, very strong. I think on table two, Keith has both the higher elo and is just in better, slightly better shape in generally. So I would give a slight edge, maybe 55% to Keith there, maybe not 71% as the World Cup killer suggests. On table three, the Chinese player with screen name Metallica, I think, has a slight edge over the Japanese captain with the screen name Snow Island, even though the dual odds, it says 62-63%. I would give them like a little bit more, more like 70. On table four, it's a complete toss-up. We have the Chinese player with screen name 203 Club, who played actually only once in their last match against Catalonia. He did win his duel, so his record is now absolutely spotless. And they'll be playing against the Japanese player with the screen name Eku, so not much history between the two. I mean, anything could happen there. And on table 5, that's the one table where the Japanese, I would say, is the heavy favorite. The player with the screen name Chris Traps. Traps, by the way, stands for the Carcassonne Club. It's called Traps. I don't know what it's actually like, if it's an acronym or not. Maybe if we have Japanese viewers in the chat, you could let us know, but I just put a little mousetrap there to represent it. And I think it was founded by not these two players. I'm not exactly sure who was the founder, but you will see many Japanese players with the sort of Traps addition to their screen name. Yeah, and they will be playing against the Chinese captain, who I think is underrated. They're rated 537, but their tournament record shows that they're much more grittier than that. So I would expect still Chris to be the favorite here, but maybe not with like 78%, but like 65% or something like this. So we have many viewers here in the chat. Hi David, hi Elias, hi Ivan, hi Steven. Yeah, so you're saying go Japan. Actually, just curious, so how many of you are rooting for Japan and how many of you are rooting for China? That's one thing. Also, if you have any questions to our special guest during the stream, do ask us. No, you can ask about what it's like to play for 3 different countries, actually, because Daniel has participated in 3 different championships, and last year came very close to representing the United Kingdom. So Daniel has reached the final of the UK National Championship last year as well. You can ask about ELO and math, because Daniel is the author of this calculator that you see on the screen right now, and a bunch of any other Carcassonne related things. So I see more people are rooting for Japan. How about you, Daniel? Are you going to be neutral today, or do you have a preference between the two teams?
Well, personally, I think I'm a bit neutral, and because this is watching the Carcassonne, and it is nothing to do with which national or any emotions on them.
Okay, yeah, so that's a very diplomatic answer. So as usual, I will be supporting just whoever plays best, and well, we're gonna see in a short while that happens. Also, Daniel, just got to remind you, so we are, as usual, there are always some technical difficulties on this channel. So can you hold the mic up when you speak? Yeah, I know, because it's
yes.
It's a bit inconvenient for you. Yeah, no worries. But that's kind of the only way how we figure out to find a sound that would be balanced, and that we would be able to send through. Of course, Fantasy Carcassonne update will be due at the end of the stream, and if anything, we'll be updating it immediately with the outcomes of this match. So the match between Dr. Taihan and Keith Rum has already started, and we're here just to witness the first tile. What a fantastic tile for Keith Rum to start. Keith Rum here playing with the black meeple. The starting player. Meeple's a monastery for 2 points, but the doctor gets a city cap for 4 points. So roughly an equal opening. Certainly I prefer to be in the position of Keith Rum here, both the starting player and the monastery slight advantage. Let's see what the doctor draws next. Keith Rum starts a new city, and here's the power of the monasteries, right? You see, so the doctor drew a tile that forced him to add 1 point next to Black's monastery over here. That's why it's so important to meeple monasteries, right? And also this beautiful 2-point road is controlled by this monastery meeple, so Black's advantage is starting to grow. With this tile, he wasn't able to do much, just decided to add 1 monastery point. as the doctor, a couple of moves that you could play. You could start a new city over here, you could start a new city over here, you could start a new city over here. Probably starting a new city over here is best, he decides. Note that he did not close his city because he can do it later. Both of these players are strong enough to adhere to the principle of two cities, and one thing they're going to see in this duel is that how efficient they are with their tiles when it comes to point scoring. Now Keith Rum has an interesting tile to play. It's a shielded tile, and he has basically two options. He can start a city over here next to his monastery, either on one side or another, but he chooses the other option, which is to cover up his city at the top. The Doctor will now probably continue one of his cities, although he should be considering meepling a new city as well. Probably not as lucrative, this little city piece. It can be taken care of later. I think the move here is quite straightforward. You go over here, put the shrine on the right, point it upwards, then you're having an unrestricted city cap versus a restricted city cap. It's a battle in which you're the slight favor to finish your city first, and then restrict your opponent's city finishing square a little bit. There's one downside, of course. Oh, and he decided that this downside wasn't worth it. That's so interesting. The first move where I don't quite agree with the Chinese player. It's a very well-known standard situation, and I think one of the reasons why he didn't want to point this tile up is because of the shield. He decided that he wanted to minimize the risks of these cities being shared. Wow, I'm already out of my depth here. So the Doctor decides that he does not want to save this city, and look at that. With the city cap, he's essentially kissing this meeple goodbye, and he's saying, you know what? I'm just going to start a new city up top. I'm going to try and block you from both sides. Certainly very interesting development, especially a very quick decision here taken by the Chinese player. So, Daniel, are you at all surprised by any of these decisions here? Unmute.
Yeah, I think on the city on the right, if I was Dr. Taihan, and I will put the city upwards. Yeah, so that it will be at least I will have a higher chance on competing city and block the next Maple City.
Exactly, yeah, and it looks like currently the Doctor's greed is not paying off. So as you see, he started the blocking attack, and now Keith Rum draws a fantastic taunt, and he has a range of options. He could just go over here and save this meeple. There are still 3 right-handed daggers remaining that would fit into this square, and he decided to do just that. Meeple's yet another city cap to take the maximum use of this tile. So it was not possible for Red to corral Black City. Now, will Red respond with a city of his own? Maybe going over here. I rather like this idea, keeping his options flexible. First of all, this is adding 2 immediate points to your city, and it could be a ruin in the future. It could grow a lot, and maybe this square could get blocked. This monastery would be blocked with 8 points, and the city would be blocked with 12 points or something like that. But there are also some scenarios how the Doctor gets some big tiles really quickly and builds around this city to complete a monstrosity for like 20, 21 points. I played with the Doctor in the preliminary rounds, and that's how I lost one game to him, where I was ahead, but then he just out of nowhere managed to make a 20 or even more, like a 30-point city like this. I ended up losing that game -5 just because that city was so powerful, but both players are exchanging city cap moves, quick points. As you see, they're trying to be really greedy, really efficient, make sure to use every single piece of feature on this tile, so they're not afraid of each having 2 meepled city caps. It's a spectacular play of Carcassonne, you know, like play and let's play. Keith Rum finishes a city here. Does not meeple the road, understandably so. Dr. Taihan draws one of the tiles that Keith Rum needed, and he will drop a farmer in anticipation. There's still 2 tiles that fit over here, and if Keith Rum draws this tile, of course he'll want to like get his meeple back and everything, but he will be adding 2 more cities to this field. This field will eventually be worth fighting for. But the problem as black, it's not that easy for you to fight for the field because you're at a long-term meeple disadvantage. You sort of, until you get this guy back, and if you get this guy back, because 75% of the time this guy is not coming back, 25% of the time this guy is not coming back, then you kind of need to operate with a bit of a meeple minority. So maybe you... Very, very interesting. Both players are making moves I absolutely would not have considered, and if anything, I quite strongly disagree with this move. I mean, who am I to say, but the move that I would expected by Keith Rum was scoring 2 points over here, pre-building a 4-point road over here, so that when Blacks gets his city back, he can place this tile over here, and not only score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 points for the city, but also score 4 points for the road. Because if you don't do that early enough, there's sometimes a nasty situation, like if you were to get this dagger tile now, then you sort of have to meeple this road as black, but then this road immediately becomes vulnerable. So it's actually important to pre-build it before you get the meeple back. Maybe black decided that he's going to do this with a later tile. I don't know. Another thing that black could have done with this tile is maybe just scored 3 points over here, but instead he decides to go blocking, which makes sense, but on the other hand, there's still plenty of city caps with the road remaining, so it looks like in all likelihood it's a delay rather than a block. And also this move makes his own monastery square vulnerable over here, but he is proceeding successfully, so maybe black knows something that I don't. I've also noticed something. I mean, I've said this a lot, that there seem to be some different schools of thought. Like there's some commonality between East Asian players, between Eastern European players, between Latin players. Like I'm talking, you know, Spain, Brazil. Well, particular Spain and Brazil. So there are some differences in the way the Portuguese play, for example. Do you see, Daniel, like any common traits between different East Asian nations, or is that something that I'm imagining?
I think actually the Japanese players is generally kind of they're following the like what you said, the two city principles, which I first noticed it in from the Japanese player. Yeah, so I think they are very good in keeping the scoring, and it is not that easy to block them from scoring points if you have 2 cities onwards, and they are good for splitting city caps.
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess with the tube city principle, you can't block all of the meeples because they're in different places, and at least some will survive and compensate for any you know, like 1 or 2 block meeples that one may have. But I've also noticed 2 other tendencies, and not only for Team Japan, but also for Team Taiwan, Team China as well. Not sure about Team Malaysia, probably to a lesser extent because it's one of the newer teams. That they would much more often than others have closed positions. Instead of having like one big field for 24 points, they would have like 3 fields for 9 points max. Maybe they would be tightly engaged in one-to-one mini battles throughout the board. This kind of small ball strategy. and also that they would be blocking more often than other players. So this is only partially true for Japan, but I noticed for Team Taiwan and for Team China, they certainly prioritize blocking more than other players. And we do see this in some case, because like, look at this move over here, something that I would not have played. Also, this move over here was interesting by Red kind of trying to go for the mini battle, having a huge ruin against Black's monastery over here. So that's something interesting. And how's Team Hong Kong in that regard? Like, would you say that you block more than other players, or not? Unmute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. To keep the noise in a lower level. Yes. Yeah, I think it's always the best to try to score points at the same time to try to block or at least try to block the opponent. So I think it tends to use the tiles to block in some extent, but I think generally it is quite depends on the situation.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, just as you were talking, we had 2 blocks. So this guy Keith Rum had just placed a second restricting tile towards this meeple. There are only 2, or as Red should you say, still 2 tiles that give you the meeple back. Of course, Black will be trying later to maybe score 2 points over here with the crossroads and block this guy completely. And then the Chinese player responded in kind by breaking Black's city, make it harder to complete, kind of creating some vulnerable squares around this. But look at this, that's why I generally don't block that much, because all Kiefer is going to do is going to go over here, and he's going to threaten to draw a city cap and then finish his city. Though the problem here for Black is that this square is still vulnerable, and I'll tell you why. Look at this city cap over here. This means that not only will Red be able to collect 4 points when he gets the city cap, but also when he gets the city cap, another blocking platform will be created from above. So it'll be like a fantastic move for Red. 4 points for the city, then 3 points for the field, because Red has just now dropped a second meeple into the field in this clinching control over it. And yeah, and the blocking platform, so just huge benefit. On the other hand, if you're Keith Rum, well, if you draw a city cap tile, it gives you only 1 point, because you like score 4 points for the city, but you give your opponent 3 points for the field, so that's nest 1, and you create a blocking platform against yourself. So that's certainly not ideal for you. But now the big question, let's see how Japanese this Japanese player is. Japanese players are extremely greedy with monasteries. I think that even in a close position like this, Black will find a way to meeple the monastery. And actually there's one spot which looks super counterintuitive, but I really like. If I were Black, I would put this monastery over here right in the center for 5 points. And it looks super dangerous, but in fact it isn't. There are 2 tiles that fit over here for a semi-evil hamster to give you 8 points or 9 points. Then this monastery would also pre-build a road next to your city, so you could score 4 extra points for the road as well. And also here, like, this square next to the monastery looks vulnerable, but it actually isn't. Because look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's still 5 curves remaining. So 5 curves that fit into this square. And Red will not be able to attack this square until he draws the starting tile. But there's only 2 starting tiles. So if you are playing Black here, you're betting that you're going to draw one of the 5 curves before your opponent draws one of the 2 starting tiles. And I'm very surprised that Keith Rum didn't play this move. I really thought that with 4 meeples and a situation where he's slightly behind, that's something what he would do. I mean, instead he uses the monastery as a blocking tile, kind of trying to get a straight line over here. It doesn't seem to get the blocks that he needs. He'll probably now continue his city, and this city is still live. It is still finishable. But I'm very, very surprised that Black didn't take advantage of this opportunity. Instead, he takes a 4-point road. In the meantime, the Chinese player draws the city cap that Keith Rum would have needed, so certainly the better draw so far. Still one tile that fits into this square, though. So I'm wondering about the monasteries, though. Were you at all surprised by Black's move here, and is that something that you would have done, and what you would have played with that monastery in that position? Okay, well, in the meantime, Black is continuing his city at the bottom, leaving a city cap open, understandably so, because it was super dangerous to meeple the city cap. But the doctor will be able to take advantage of it instead. Or maybe he could try go over here, try equalize the city. Being ahead in the position, you can certainly afford to spend a meeple on preventing your opponent from finishing a huge city. And also that's why you see like blocks like these, wasted monastery, and as a result, Red kept his meeple alive for 75%. So Red actually was able to save his meeple. Sun Zero saying in the chat that Japanese want to use that monastery to block. Maybe in this case, but that's not like what they normally do. At least not what Keith Rum normally does. I've had games where they've been like extremely aggressive with the monastery. They would like play the last meeple on the monastery or whatever. And also what this move does, it kind of creates quite a gambling situation over here. So whoever draws a monastery with a road gets a huge benefit. Imagine this. Draw a monastery with a road, 8 points. You draw another monastery with a road, 9 points, road pointing down. And then you draw the starting tile to get 4 points for the city cap and to get your meeple back. So that's certainly a sequence that could occur. Let's see if it actually does. The doctor here is taking his sweet time, probably deciding whether it's better to block the city or to connect to the city. Let's see what he prioritizes. What would you go in this situation? Would you go for the connect or would you go for the block, Daniel? Unmute, unmute.
Yeah, if I was Red, I think I would just take what the Red has done, just try to clear the city caps.
Just taking the city cap.
Yeah.
So yeah, the doctor certainly does agree with you, but look, it's playing with fire. I mean, it's something that Keith Rum is absolutely happy to hear. I mean, we know for sure that Keith Rum is going to go over here, and he's going to put himself one tile away from finishing his huge city. And I think he could even meeple this road if he really, really wanted to. So both players taking like quite a lot of risks. Oh, Daniel, can you like either can you hold up the mic or mute? Because so Keith Rum here is taking 4 points for the city, I presume. I mean, maybe he's reluctant to do this because it's only a 1 point move net, and maybe he can find something stronger. Let's see what he could do. I mean, he could actually just like use the city cap, not as a city cap. No, he scores the points first, trying to clean up.
Yeah, but he's not cleaning up the city cap because there is a split tile and there's another city cap.
That's true, exactly, yeah. So he's only like, so it's just basically a 1 point move. And also there's another problem is that you see the city cap here is restricted to a road, and that's exactly the city cap that black needs over here. So having this city cap open benefits only red really, because if black draws it, black will not use it. So only red can draw this spot. In the meantime, red decided to go quite conservative, score 4 points for the road, and in this case I probably agree. Then there's still 2 huge monastery spots open for red to take advantage later, or for black to take advantage later. We shall see. Now Keith has an interesting decision to make. Do you go over here, continuing your city, maybe drop a farmer trying to connect through a curve, or do you go over here, adding 1 point, or do you go over here, taking 2 points and also sort of kind of neutralizing the city cap? But I think the move that he will play is this one. Yes, exactly. I was going to say it to try and break red's city. And red, look at this. Red is not saving his city, understandably so. This was the last tile that would have been fit into this square. So this meeple has officially been declared deceased by me. But red, now realizing that he's in trouble, he's now trying to connect to this ruin, or at least towards its completion. Now, the best black can hope for is to go over here twice, and then have this square blocked. But also what happened with this tile is it's quite a rare moment. It's the same tile that was going to fit into this square. So this means that we witnessed something that happens only once every 8 games, is the same player drawing all 3 tiles of a kind. And it just so happened that it's the tile that black needed over here. Certainly not great news for black, if you ask me, but black has 3 extra meeples. Maybe black can create some threats and do some damage with them. He takes... red takes 2 points. Brilliant move. Not only are these 2 points, but it's an attempt to eat up an extra city piece. If red gets back-to-back triangles, he can grow this ruin to bigger proportions, and this will be really, really great for him. So first of all, when you have only 1 meeple on the board, when you have only 1 meeple in hand, it's only possible for you to... There's only so many ways how you can score points. And if you can manage to like sneak in these ruin moves, it's huge. Because like with 2 triangles, you would be getting 4 points. It's the same as, you know, building a 4-point city, just you don't have to spend a meeple. Another great idea behind this is that you're going to have your ruin points split between this and this. And so in the event of attack, the damage will be mitigated. Like, it's not like all your city points will be taken away in one go. In the meantime, the Doctor scores 4 points, gets a meeple back, and adds another city into their huge field. Very difficult position here for Keith Rum. What he can do, he can go over here, score 2 points. He can probably, I mean, he should probably go over here, score 4 points, create a flip for the monastery, because they're still, yep, exactly, and just hope that he draws the monastery, because, I mean, how else do you win this game? You have to win some coin flips. And red, I would say even against the odds, draws the tile to complete the connection. And all this effort that was spent by black into building the city has just been negated. They're equal on the scoreboard. Black has an extra meeple in hand, but look at how the meeples are deployed. 1 point city over here, 4 point city over here, versus this gigantic ruin. Okay, the monastery is not bad, but still, the ruin is better. I mean, the Chinese player just keeps pushing and pushing. Look at that move. That's also something that we see East Asian players do a lot, or at least I see, is engaging in these mini battles. He's saying that I'm happy to invest a meeple, but if you're going to finish your city, then at least you're going to continue my road, and then maybe then I get a meeple back. But also, it's an insurance road, right? It's saying that if you're going to connect your meeple into the farm, I will be trying to score some road points as well. And Keith Rum now realizes that this field is too big to ignore, so he needs to fight for it. But the problem, he will need 2 meeples instead of 1. So he got 1 into the field. Red will now probably get the other one. The question is, how does Black get another meeple into the position? I see an option, I think. It's crazy. No, it doesn't work. Nothing works. Okay, I do see an option. Yeah, it's crazy, but it should work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at these. So, Doritos, right? There's 1 Dorito with the road still remaining. So, if Black draws a curve, he can put over here, drop a farmer like this, and then hope to connect through the Dorito later on. But it doesn't matter, because the Chinese player has just played what I think is a brilliant move. Instead of connecting his farmer at the top, he decided to wait and drop a 3rd farmer instead to have a super majority on the field to make sure that there is no question about the victor of this game. Now, what Red could do, what Black could do if Black draws a curve, maybe Black could go over here, point that curve downwards, and then cut off this Red meeple. But the problem for that is twofold. First of all, it takes extra moves. And second, it didn't work. But even if that were to work, it takes extra moves, and Red would still have like 3 points compensation. But now, in order to win, Black needs to find 2 field connections. Or maybe Black can try winning without the field somehow. Maybe I see one idea. Okay, check this out. It's far-fetched, but it's doable. Let's say as Black, we win the coin flip for the monastery. Then we get this tile, the 1 remaining left-handed dagger. So all right-handed daggers are out, but 1 left-handed dagger is still in the game. Then we put it over here. We meeple this road. Then we draw the 1 remaining triple city with the road. And then we put it over here. We get 2 meeples back for 13 points. And then we meeple this little city piece. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough to come back from this. But yeah, in order to do something about this, Keith Rum needs to be really creative. Daniel, maybe do you have some winning ideas for Black? Unmute.
Yeah, I think the field is not ignorable, so it's a tough fight for the Black, but I think he still has to go for it. Yeah, it's my thought. Yes, still if it is still I think if it's still to get into it, they still try to just meeple the straight road here, like
Yeah, but here's an interesting idea here, though. Like, as Black, you have this monastery. I mean, you surely are super tempted to go over here and just take the 8 points, and then hope for the 9 points. Like, it's already 17 points move. Yeah, he does this. He does this. If he does manage to get the 17 points, it should work. Because you see, like, Red is going to have a super majority on the field anyway. If I were Red, I would probably just, like, complete the connection. Because really,
Okay.
you're not benefiting from not completing it, right? Because this city is not scoring twice. So you probably go over here, and then maybe instead of getting two meeples into the field, so he goes for this type of move, but it's also playing with fire a little bit because there's some situations how this meeple is not getting into the field, and then at the last moment, Keith Rum manages to sneak something in. Because again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there are 2 curves remaining. Let's just count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 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 yes. That crazy idea that I talked about earlier with the curve and with the other curve, it still works. Keith Rum now is going to score 9 points, as he should. He should have done so a little bit quicker. And this game is suddenly getting much, much closer. So the doctor, I think, should try and block this connection idea and place the straight line like this. Oh yeah, a good comment. Yes, Sun Zero is saying that black points adding color confused me. It was the shared points, not only for the black player. Yeah, it's kind of like silly what Board Game Arena does. So the font for the point scoring is black if the features are shared, but it's also if one of the players is playing with black meeples, then you can't know for sure. So I don't know. They should change it to purple or something. Thank you. We have an update. So we have a bit of an upset on table 3. The Japanese captain with the screen name Snow Island defeats the Chinese player with the screen name Metallica, and Japan is on the board 1 versus 0. Also, knowing the speed of these two players, I'm surprised how on earth has Metallica's game finished first. That's also something that I see, like players from China and Japan in particular tend to take their time. Whoa. Okay. That's interesting. So, very interesting farmer over here. Maybe this black meeple was trying to sneak in all the way around, which is why red prevented it. But again, maybe this idea still works. No, he decided not to go for it just yet. But that was the last curve. That's it. This idea is gone. Has he decided that he wants to win without the field? But is that even possible? Let's see in a second. Black just chooses to score some points. Deploys his meeple for 4 points via the road. I don't think these two monsters are going to quite cut it for black. Black needs to really create something. It needs to solve this endgame. Okay, what are the remaining tiles? Other than this little piece. There's still a dagger, of course. That kind of dagger. I think there's a straight line. The doctor immediately scored the city, but I think this move was designed to create a field connection and it doesn't work. I think oh, there's a monastery. Okay, I miscounted one tile. So I guess there's a monastery. Oh no, I didn't miscount. The straight line was there. I just forgot to name one tile. I think the idea behind this move, I really liked it. It was one that gave Keith Rum like an 8%, yeah, an 8% exactly win scenario, in which he'd get these two tiles back to back. So the idea was that if the doctor draws this, the doctor's not able to block. Actually, no, it wasn't working anyway, because then the doctor would be able to block with the monastery. Yeah, it was just a hopeless position, and the player with the red meeples had managed to to build barricades and other around the fields, and no matter how many monasteries you're gonna put there, it's just not gonna be enough. What a game, what again? Quite convincing performance here from the Chinese player. Yeah, of course, getting these three tiles was super nice for him, but it wasn't the issue that decided the game. I think even after that, the game was winnable by black, but it just wasn't meant to be. Field barricades, that's how the Doctor takes the first one down. So, whoa, we have so many results. I guess we have to go through the game. Okay, thank you. So 203 club wins, meme 9 wins. I have to update this. In the meantime, who are we going to watch next? Daniel, do you prefer sticking with this duel, or do you prefer watching somebody else? Unmute.
Yeah, if you want to stick with this, I'm fine. But if you want to change to another, I think I will prefer to watch the one between Meteor and Slow Island. Is it?
Let's have a look at how they're doing. Before that, I just need to check out how Self-Evident is doing, because, or maybe, oh, he loses the first game. Also interesting. What an upset! Wow. So 3-2 for China after the first round. Okay. Metallica first. So, Daniel, I'm going to leave you to comment on the action while I update the scoreboard. All right, I've opened the game. They've just starting, by the way. So, Snow Island, Metallica, equal rating now because Metallica lost the first one. Equal on points. All right, you take over, Daniel. If you're saying something, got on mute, just reminding. Okay, that's certainly quite interesting. So we have a round of upset pretty much rating wise, but everything could change. So roughly an equal opening position here. The Chinese player Metallica with the green meeple has the first monastery already for 6 points. The players are equal on the scoreboard and have one open city cap each. But as a result of this monastery, it's of course green that has the opening advantage. We'll keep repeating the words of the 2019 world champion and my future opponent for today, Marian Kurkan, who says he who is the first to draw the first monastery has the opening advantage. Which, yeah, I really hope that I draw the first monastery against Marian today. Well, anyway, red now draws a monastery as well. Snow Island will certainly be happy about a development like this. He'll probably go over here. Oh, that's interesting. This is also something that I've seen Japanese players do a lot. And I rather like this move. And the idea is this. They place the monastery not in the highest scoring point, but they sometimes sacrifice a couple of points just to place it in a position that controls your opponent's features. And this monastery here controls this city cap. There's some scenarios how this city cap gets blocked for 1 point. This monastery is built around for 8 points. And also this monastery controls this road, which is why this move by Metallica is so brilliant, I think. What an amazing road. Look at this. 4 points, kind of pre-building for 6, and then indirectly continuing your city. That's just such a beauty. Like, how many of you, how many would take, me finish city, me take 4 points, and me pull back? Yeah, it's an okay move. I mean, but, are you trying to win the world championship or not? That's the question. And look at this. Red is continuing his city and trying to hurt black meeple over here. And what green is probably going to do is just get out of harm's way. Yep. Oh, continue his city. cover it up quite nicely, hoping to get a city cap with a field on the next move and maybe drop a farmer. Also indirectly finishing his road. Yeah, he's not going to go over here. No. He's not going to go over here either. He's going to go over here exactly pre-finishing his road. And this is something that the Japanese player may have overlooked. I think if I were them, I would have placed this straight line up top to create a blocking platform from a different place, but to also break the road, which was quite important. Now, really, the Chinese players coming up with some efficient moves. So Snow Island having a difficult decision here. Do they just take 3 points over here, or do they sacrifice the 3 points and go over here to try and block his opponent's city? The problem is that this block is only partial anyway, right? Because if you go over here, there are still 3 splitter tiles that separate, and you can't really meeple this city because it's just so dangerous. The reason why it's dangerous, another very, very interesting move that I quite like. Here comes the farmer. This square becomes more vulnerable. This field just has so much potential. The reason why meepling this would have been dangerous is because this meeple in a situation like this gets blocked quite often. When green gets a curve, then he'll be putting pressure on this square. In the meantime, green is not putting pressure, but combating against his opponent's pressure on the bottom side. Just as red was about to finish his city, green is saying, whoops, let me just jump in and share all the effort that you have put in. But red is saying, you know, it's okay, you can equalize my city. What I'm going to do, I'm going to keep you without meeples. I'm going to start by restricting your road meeple to 50%. And in 50% of the scenarios, it's staying there with just 2 points. Green is getting really creative here. Green is just deciding to equalize this city, which I'm not sure how I feel about with my last meeple. Maybe a bit too creative to my taste, but I'm pretty sure there must have been a reason for that. And Snow Island is saying, okay, you prevented me for 1 move from finishing my city, but you're spending the same amount of effort as I did. I'm just going to start a new city elsewhere. The question is, where? A move that I see is maybe actually not starting a new city, but maybe just going over here, pre-building an 8-point city. And given that you're the only side with the meeples, maybe you can just be okay with this coin flip. He decides that he wants to start the new city in a different place. And look at this, Metallica is immediately losing value. So he doesn't finish his road, doesn't take 3 points over here. He first of all wants to take care of this square. And the reason for that is that there's still 1 splitter on the in the deck remaining, because there's still only 1 splitter on the board. And he's saying, okay, in case you draw the splitter, at least I'm not getting stranded here with a 3-point city whilst you survive with your lucrative 14-point city. But the thing, what it seems to me, maybe this placement of the last meeple was a bit too overconfident from green. Green is playing like as if he's 20 points ahead because he's trying to minimize variance into the game. But maybe green is not that far ahead. Maybe that was like just a perception thing. Because probably as green, you need to bail. You need to get your meeple back. Yeah, exactly. If the square gets blocked, so be it. You have the road, you have the city cap, and Snow Island does not get a blocking tile, so he goes over here. And what does Metallica do? It's a very interesting question. He does have only 1 meeple. I mean, he could go over here, pointed downwards. But I don't think you want to do that because Snow Island can easily equalize this. Or if he wants to make a real content move, okay, he doesn't go here. He just decides to block the square. Does not want to get a shared meeple back. Snow Island is absolutely happy to take the 4 points and block the square. He will be in a winning mini battle against this Monastery meeple, so I wouldn't say green has that big of an advantage anymore. A lot in this game will depend on whether green gets his road meeple back. I see also a lot of you are writing in the chat William Prime is saying 40 viewers on the stream, but only 7 likes. Yes, let's fix that actually. Also, I would say quite a lot of concurrent viewers. Yeah, do meeple the like button, and it's important for the algorithm, and it actually helps. Like, it's legit helps. I've checked the YouTube analytics. Also, Joan was saying just added mine. Okay, very nice. Thank you for that. Metalcat having some meeple trouble again. And Snow Island will make sure that this meeple trouble persists for a long time. Not only is he trying to eat up this city for a lot of points, he's also trying to make sure that Green stays without a meeple for a long time. So it does look that Green maybe was a bit overconfident. I mean, now they don't have that much to do. Well, they can get this Monastir meeple back. They need a curve ASAP. What a move! What a move! Check this out. Did you see that? Red sort of semi-blocked his own city, but he knows that there's still a 50% chance that Red can get the quadruple city tile and win. And the reason why he went for the 50-50 is because all the 3 tiles with the road, they were already out. And so he wanted to make sure that Green doesn't put a road tile here. But here's the thing. There are very, very few cities on the board. So, if I were Snow Island, you know what I would do? I would go over here. Yeah, I would go over here. Just trust me. And then I would try to get a city cap and put it over here. You know why? Because if Metallica draws the quadruple city tile, and if the other cities on the board will be closed, he will be forced to place it over here and lose his own city. I really, really hope it happens. No, don't do that. Don't get the. Oh. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't have worked, like, because Green drew the tile like this. But it's something that you should absolutely be playing for in a position like this. Because imagine, like, if you put it over here, and if Green draws this tile, like, 1 move later, then you just win the game automatically. Well, the Japanese player decided not to go for the content, and as a result, Green has his meeple back, has a farmer, and has 2 of Red's meeple blocked over here, has a ruin here that's going to develop, and Green is a happy, happy person.
The game now seems to on the decide whether Red will get this meeple back in the bottom.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah,
now suddenly Red is the side without meeples. That's true. A lot of in this game will be decided if Red gets this meeple at the bottom back. But how did that happen? Man, such such an unusual game. Okay, well, Snow Island does get a meeple back. He's just thinking, wait, or did you say... Juliano is asking, isn't Snow Island a woman? Oh, did I say he? Actually, I have no idea. I know that, like, Japanese players tend to be quite secretive about their identities. I once asked Keith for his real name for a YouTube video that I was making. He said, well, actually, I don't know if they said that they like the anonymity of the board game arena. I mean, the only players who are known are the ones who like went to SNU, Satoru Kishino, Takafumi Mochizuki, who are both on Board Game Arena, and they're in previous Japanese teams, but just not this year. So they already have their world championship titles, and they decided that one is enough. So, back to the game. Difficult position here for the play with the red meeples. Or are we maybe underestimating red over here? Let's count up some points. Red is at -10, -19 because of the field. Then, what else? What else? What else? This mini battle is 7 versus 4, so it's 3. -16. This is equal. -18 because of these 2 road points. These ruins amount to 1, 2, 3, 7 points. So it's -9. And then this mini battle, 6 versus 5, -8. This guy's -7. And that's it. This block here was so important.
Yeah, red can't get back his meeple, and I think that is that's it.
That's it here for it will be the Chinese player who will take it convincingly with like around 10 points or so. But here's the thing, like if red were to get a meeple back, there were chances. If red were to get this tile, for example, then red could get his meeple back, get 3 extra points, and maybe try to score something over here. Yeah, because now 9-point field for Metallica is just filthy. KK Spam is saying that Meme 9 wins a duel on table 5. That's incredible. That's probably the table that's the Chinese weren't even hoping to win. And China is up on the match scoreboard 1 versus 0 on the tables where I was going to say it matters most for Japan. So now in order for Japan to win, a bunch of comebacks need to occur. Yeah, plus 18 in the end. Of course, that's only because of the last few moves with which Metallica managed to score like 13 points. That was 4 points for a city cap and then 9 points for the field. That's what you can do when you have meeples and your opponent doesn't equalize the score, and I'm gonna let my guest decide. So, shall we stick with the decider for this duel? Shall we go back to Dr. Taihan, or shall we watch somebody else entirely?
Yeah, I think I would prefer watching the hit here. Yeah, they are interesting. And look at the score, that is quite low. That they are, I think, very well managed in the blocking strategies.
So then the decider it is. I mean, we will need to keep refreshing. Okay, this is probably enough time to just have a very brief look on how Self-Evident is doing. So they are about to finish their second game, I presume. Well, 7 tiles remaining, so we can stick with that to then, and then watch the Metallicat's game from the early middle game or late opening. So Yanochi here with the blue meeples up 10 points on the scoreboard. Self-evident with the red meeples down 10 points, but has a huge ruin here on contestant. Now gets a meeple back. Also has the control of these fields. It does look that a lot in this game will be decided by the one tile that fits into this square. Yeah, it's basically we're flipping for this. I think if blue gets the tile that fits here, blue wins. Because the city will be like 14 points, I don't know. Something like this. And if blue doesn't get this tile, blue does not win. A classic Carcassonne coin flip. Nothing that either player can do about it, or can they? Actually, maybe they can. If as red, you go over here and drop a compensation farmer for 6 points. When blue finishes his city, this farmer is going to be worth 9 points. And it could possibly be enough to surmount the damage. I mean, of course, if Yanochi finishes the city, he'll meeple a 6-point field as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But there's still straight lines remaining. So if self-evident can meeple, let's say, go over here, meeple this field, and then draw a straight line and meeple the road, that will be maximum compensation. That will be like 16 points compensation for what's a 16-point city. He does meeple the road, but not in the place where I would have. I think he does meeple the field. I think he was slightly more precise to go over here, but it doesn't matter because he was the coin flip anyway. And with that, he probably wins the game. And this means that we're going to have another decider between self-evident and Yanochi. Ralph Q is saying, winning by 18 while making more mistakes than the opponents, that's also Carcassonne. I have to disagree actually here. I mean, that's also Carcassonne, but I don't think green made more... in last game, I don't think green made more mistakes than red. Red also played some moves which I think were... And also, like, green played some really, really strong moves at the start with the efficient scoring. Well, going back to this game, Yanochi is meepling a 6-point road, just as self-evident was about to meeple it. But he doesn't care that much. He'll be happy with a 4-point road. Should still be sufficient for the win. Let's see what the score is gonna be. Well, thanks for the news. And China wins yet another duel. 203 Club wins a duel on table number 4 against EQ. That was so 203 Club currently has the perfect score in the World Championship. They played in 2 duels and won 2 games. Look at how close this one was. The Chinese player winning with a mere 5-point difference, which means that the coin flip for the city tile was absolutely the thing that decided the game. Alrighty. We're going to switch to that decider a little bit later, as I said we would. We're going to watch Metallica first. It is looking complicated for Japan, and yes, China are in great form, but Japan has also come back from even worse situations. Okay, these guys haven't started yet, so I'm going to go to the doctor again. and see how they are finishing their second game. Well, looks super equal at first sight. Keith here with the black meeples has an extra meeple to spare and 4 points on the scoreboard. Also, he has more farmers, which looks just fantastic for black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 21-point field and long-term meeple majority. Let's actually have a look. Oh, wow, 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 wow. So long-term, there's meeple equality, but short-term, there's a meeple majority. Okay, so let's go through the position real quick, right? There's a blocked city where red has a 7 versus 2 mini battle. These both meeples are deceased. Red is at +5 over here, but look at this mini battle over here. This giant ruin is blocked, and here red has only 1 point, whereas black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points. So this situation is +10 for black, which means that black over here with these blocked meeples has 5 extra points, which we pretty much can add to scoreboard. So red is now at -9 on the scoreboard, essentially. Long term, though, some meeples of red will come back, right? This monastery probably will be finished for 9 points. This city will probably be finished for 8 points. These are 17 points more on the scoreboard, and this will actually put black at a disadvantage. Black now tries to grow his field huge, drops a city cap. Red now gets his meeple back, gets the 8 points on the scoreboard. There, empty city caps lying around. Will we see a farmer move? I mean, so many things can happen here. So red could black could either go over here, but that was too quick. Maybe they could have like considered going over here, dropping a farmer, or going here, dropping a farmer. They want to save this for later. The doctor could go here, drop a farmer, actually. That's certainly quite an interesting move. Or they could just connect this meeple and drop another farmer later. It does look like the field is going to be decisive, probably. Because let's say like Keith is now +1 on the scoreboard, let's say, if we take account of these mini battles. But this 7-point monastery means that black is down 6 points overall. And if we ignore the field, of course, black is currently up on the field. But look at this move. You see what the doctor's trying to do. The doctor's trying to finish his monastery with another monastery. Is he trying to pull off what Keith didn't manage to pull off in game 1? Is he trying to go for a fieldless win condition? I don't think it quite works, but let's see if he can actually make it happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a second. An interesting move that I see here by Keith is not scoring these 4 points, but going over here and blocking this monastery meeple. But look at these. Look at all these vanilla city caps. That's right. 5 of them are all in the game. So if black manages to see that, manages to forego the immediate gratification of quick points, if he places this tile over here, then red is not getting his meeple back. And meeples do seem crucial, but he decides, know what? I don't care. I want to grow the big field. You can get your meeple back all you want. I'ma win like this. And the doctor, you know what the doctor could do? The doctor could take advantage of a strategy like this. Maybe he can go over here, drop a farmer, or over here, drop a farmer, or say anything else, but the sentence have to end with drop a farmer. Limbo Man is asking, what is the meaning behind the name Metallica? I think like it's a popular cartoon character or something like this. I can show you, but like you must have seen these sort of cats with like oval shaped faces. It's like it's just a popular character. Edgar is saying if Japan came back from this and win the championship, they should be banned for next tournament. Well, first of all, if Japan comes back from this, they would still need to face fierce opposition in the semifinals, either in the form of Team Latvia or Team Romania. Well, that's interesting. So the Doctor has dropped a farmer. Lovely move, trying to connect two farmers with a single move over here. Certainly a strategy that should give him some success in the long run. Red connects his farmer here. Keith Rum could connect his farmer here, or do you go for the move of the week? What about, as black, can we finish the city cap and drop a fifth farmer? Maybe that's the move to win this, no? Because, like, I mean, yeah, sure, you can connect to the field. Your opponent still will have an opportunity to re-attack. Like, at this point, you should probably spend 2 full minutes. Here's what I would do. I would, like, lock a move in my mind for full... And then I decide that, like, let's say if I don't think of something better, I'm going to score 4 points. And then I just spend the rest of my time tile counting, figuring out scenarios. Will he drop it? He just takes the 4 points. He just takes the 4 points. He takes sort of the conservative route. But there was certainly merit in just trying to over-farm as well. Because, like, what the Doctor's going to do, the Doctor's going to go over here, probably drop his last farmer. And then it will not be enough for Keith Rum to just equalize the field. I think, or maybe it will. I'm not sure. Yeah, you see, the Doctor's not dropping a farmer. The Doctor's trying to get some points first because he thinks that it will not be enough. Keith Rum will now connect. We'll have the majority on the field, and the Doctor will need to, first of all, draw the monastery to get the points, and then attack the field. And this is how Red can win. I need to remind you that Red has an 8-point monastery over here, and Red is a -5 over here. So Red is like +3 on the board. So Red is actually at +2 without the field. So these 3 points here made a huge difference. Now the Doctor, what do they do? I think they take 4 points here. They still need to be like super patient. Or maybe they go over here, drop a farmer, then they hope for the monastery, then they hope to score something else. I don't know. I mean, very difficult situation for Red here. They do score the 4 points. They do realize that point scoring is super, super important, and they want to pounce at the very, very last move, which is why, as Keith Rum, you're probably looking to overfarm somewhere. But where? Or are you looking to block a field connection? Now Red is at +6 if we ignore the field. Well, technically, like, Black could go over here and score 6 points like this. And then Black could say, if you connect to the field, all I need to do is, like, score 1 point elsewhere. Or actually, no, I don't need to score any points because I think Red was the starting player here. So a tie is still good for Black. Any prediction of what Black is going to do here? Do you think he's going to drop another farmer? Do you think he's going to go for 6 points or something like this? Or do you think he's going to do something else entirely? Any idea that you can share with us? Right, so he does the move, but he doesn't score the actual points. That's very interesting. He just scores 1 point. He doesn't meeple the road just yet. And he, I think, figured that he needs to, first of all, try and keep the meeple in case he needs. I don't know. Wait. You're saying that there is no monastery in the chat because Red used to connect into the field. But there's still a road monastery. Unless I'm missing something very, very obvious. So no, there is absolutely a tile that goes here. And actually, with the road monastery, all bets are off. Because what a road monastery means is a guaranteed field connection, pretty much. So I think what the doctor can do, maybe they can just squirt. Oh, they go for the farmer. Keith draws the monastery, and this should be the win. Now, here's the thing. Keith does not need to do anything about this field connection. He can. No, he can't actually. He should be okay with it. The mooning move here is, I mean, anything. Like, you can just score, I don't know, 3 points for the road. That should be enough. You can take this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, you can take this road or wherever. The biggest blunder that you can make right now is to go over here, sort of trying to block red's field connection, and that is because that wouldn't be blocking, that would be helping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, never mind. Yeah, this would work as well. Because all the 8 crossroads have been out. So, there was quite the try by the Chinese player. But imagine if there were the crossroads there, then the Chinese player would connect like this, and then they would, like, win by 1 point or something. No, it doesn't work. So he draws a curve, can't do much with the curve, and that's it. Black here wins with a huge field. And we're gonna have 3 deciders. And if Japan wins all these 3 deciders, they do qualify.
Yeah, and be reminded that the winner of this will get to the semi-final and win an extra seat in the Essen.
Oh right, yes. So well, it's not Essen no longer, but not only does the winning team qualify to the final, to the semifinal, they actually get to delegate somebody to the individual world champion. So a lot is at stake over here. So these guys are starting their game in the 3 minutes, which means that they're finishing last. We said that we go to Metallica's game, so that's what we're gonna do. I assume they must have started by now. But the difficult part for Team Japan is, okay, maybe like a win here is doable because these 2 players seem to be equal in rating. But the win on table 1, that's the one that will be the most difficult for them, because their main hope, table 5, has been defeated by an upset by the Chinese captain. Okay, this looks great for China. This looks fan. Oh no, no, they changed colors. This looks not great for China at all. Man. So, the Chinese player is behind on the scoreboard and has no meeples in the super closed middle game. However, there are some interesting high impact spots set up. So first of all, this city over here, still 2 Doritos, or actually that's just 2 Doritos, to get his meeple back and score 6 points. Then there's this 5-point monastery by red that can score a bunch of other points. And then there's this monastery here by red, and in order to get a meeple back, I guess like red would need to go over here and then over here. Ah, now actually it's a really big dilemma for red. So check this out. Red can go over here to try and get his monastery meeple back, but that would be losing a mini battle in this city because this square would get blocked, and I don't think it's something that he can afford. Yeah, exactly. I think the move is to hope for the quadruple city tile that is still remaining, and then to just try get that quadruple city tile. It's an interesting theme. Like the Chinese player has been super generous with his last meeples, maybe sometimes to his detriment. But I mean, on the other hand, how are you gonna score points? You have to like get meeples and stuff. Okay, what else could happen? Now, red connects the city over here, trying to just finish a shared feature and get some meeples back to play with. And the Japanese player is just busy pre-building stuff. Because that's the power of the 1 versus 0 meeple advantage. Like, you don't have to meeple stuff because your opponent is not going to take away stuff from you, you see? So he was able to pick off a 4-point road with no risk. He's probably going to pick off another 3-point road over here. And these quick points, they'll accumulate so much. So now, for example, Metallica has a choice. Like, he can either go over here and clean off this road part, or he can like go over here, build up his monastery, or he can go over here trying to block Snow Island's meeple. There's really a lot of stuff that you need to accomplish as red, which is why as red your life is so hard. In the meantime, the Japanese player gets the crucial tile, and it should be all she wrote for red. I mean, red is losing a meeple here. And the Chinese captain is writing something in the chat, which they absolutely shouldn't. But still, I mean, the Chinese player should keep fighting on. Like, therefore, they still could get a meeple back here. Yeah, actually, believe it or not, like, you shouldn't despair almost ever. Because, believe it or not, there's a win path for red. Here's how it looks. As red, you get this first. You get a meeple back. Then, you get a monastery, you score 9 points. Then, you get a starting tile, and you score this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 point road. So there's like a 6, 9, 9, 18. There's a run out where you like get 24 points for free, and also then you finish your monastery with another monastery, that's another 7 points. So like there's a scenario how you can get 31 points with no meeple investment. So don't count red out of this game just yet. The more important part that red needs to make sure is to have a meeple in hand at all times. So now as red, we absolutely do not meeple a city cap. The move here in such a dire position is to gamble a little bit. You gotta drop this city cap on the left, leave 2 city caps open so that like your opponent picks up 1, you pick up 1. Nah, not... Okay, yeah, that's also fine. But you need to gamble a little bit more, my friend. Nico of Elements is saying that it looks like... Oh yeah, full screen. Thanks for that. In the match Spain-Taiwan in the wildcard round, in the round of 12, Spain was trailing 2-0 and then ended up winning 3-2. Well, this game looks that it's headed that way, but still, 2 other deciders. By the way, just as I put the graphic of the critical tile up, then this situation has been resolved. So that was a bit anticlimactic. So still, as Metalcat, like the move for you is, I don't know. Maybe you go over here, you pre-build monastery spot. You give yourself a 50-50. I think it's a really, really important move. You go over here, you clean off a city cap, you add yourself an extra monastery point in case you draw the monastery tile. Nah, not that one, not that one. Not like that! Oh, come on! Come on! It's helping red. The better move was to take the same, but turn it leftwards, saying, hey red, if you want to get a meeple back, you need to finish my city. On the other hand, what do I know? Because in case red does win the coin flip for this monastery, then maybe red is not ahead anymore. This is an interesting move. Red just decided to help green a little bit. Maybe that was a bit of a desperation mode. Not sure about that. Or maybe he decided that he wants to block. I assume that was the idea behind this. But still, this game is absolutely not lost for the Chinese player. He could score 3 points for the road here, then 3 points for the road here, then get a straight line to get a meeple back, I don't know, then get to monastery here. Like, same scenario over here. There's just so many coin flips on the board that the game has not been sealed by green. Okay, maybe now that green managed to win the coin flip, which they should be very happy about. They can meeple a 5-point monastery, or they can just dump this monastery. Honestly, it doesn't matter that much. You can make a case for even going here, although that will be adding a bit too much variance into the game. Okay, now this is the dream tile. You have to go over here and meeple the road. This is the tile that red was hoping for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's an 8-point road, which will become a 9-point road once one of the players draws the monastery tile. If they make any other moves, I'm going to lose it. It's a good idea to take your time. But, like, not meepling this road would be challenging fate by so much, because there's still one more starting tile remaining. Are you kidding me? Like, why is green desperately trying to lose the game? They have the game-winning tiles, but they're just doing everything in their power to lose it. Because now, again, red has a win path. They can get the 20 points just like that. 9 points here, 9 points here. It's still doable. Look at this, it's going to happen. And they're now going to get the road. Sure, I mean, Snow Island is going to try to take a city or whatever, but there's only so many city caps remaining. Metallica's gonna over here try to block the city, probably successfully, and then he's gonna score this road and then win the game with these 2 extra monasteries. Alphonse is saying, I was hoping Alexey would throw something. I don't know. I tried my best to contain myself, but oh my god. Like, I would also understand if there were nerves in question. But you have to feel so comfortable when you were ahead by so much. Like, why do the gambles? And also, here's the thing with this block. It actually makes sure that green needs the same type of city cap that red needs for this road. So if red gets the starting tile, why? Okay, maybe that's another win path. Maybe green's deciding that, like, this 15-point field will be enough, and so they're trying to get a second farmer in. But are you so sure? I don't think it's enough. Because again, if Metallica gets this 10-point move, well, let's say 9-point, yeah, he's going to have 16 points for the monasteries. Well, -1, -4, 12, 21, 47. He's going to be only 5 points short, and he'll be able to score 5 points with 1 meeple. Yeah, he goes here, exactly. He scores 4 points, and then he scores this, and then something else. So Snow Island does not get the thing. I mean, they should probably just go here. I don't know. Actually, they can't do anything. I don't think they can do much. Probably drop a city cap in their field, something like this. I don't think they should ever be connecting the fields. Or should they? Because maybe there's a scenario how Metal Cat wins If they take over the field, that could also work. Oh, close the city and recover the meeple. Brilliant, of course. And add 3 points to the field. Yeah, the shared city. You see, now Snow Island is in meeple trouble. That's certainly a nice idea here. But Joao was saying if the fields are enough, then yes, connect. But like after this 4-point city, no, they're not. That's the thing. Okay, because like if you connect the fields, then Metallica gets the road and gets something else. Because let's think about it. Like, so he does connect the field. He decided it's enough, but Metallica gets the wrong sequencing. He gets the wrong sequencing. If he were to get the road first and the monastery later, that would have been a win. But now, of course, the best that they can do is, I don't know, go here, I guess, for 7 points, and then try to get the starting tile for the rest. Just scores 2 points and then hoping to score 9 points later. Yeah, this will be, he'll be just short. But of course, what does it matter? Snow Island just wins both coin slip, finishes his city, and it's lights out. But if would have been, so it's certainly great for content. Despite the Japanese players' absolute best efforts trying to lose this game as best they could, they still managed to win this somehow. I mean, I haven't. Yeah, that was quite the show. Maybe they should consider playing the lottery today. But hey, that's also part of Carcassonne as well. What a game! What a game! So we congratulate the Japanese player, and it's great for content because this means that this match is still up for grabs. And it all depends on Dr. Taihan, Keith Rum, Self-Evident, and Yanochi. So I guess we're going to go to Self-Evident game. And see how they're doing. They're outrating their opponent by 200 points. But still, they're having a hard time against them. Well, not in this game, because Self-Evident has 11 points on the scoreboard and some extra meeples. Yeah, it does look like it's hard for the Japanese player here, or is it? Well, what does the Japanese player have? Well, wait a second. How about control of this 15-point field? How about an 8-point monastery? How about a couple of ruins? That's certainly interesting.
Better. Yeah. No, I just add that the Japanese seem to be in the upper hand.
Oh, really? Especially after this move, after Yanochi managed to block Self-Evident's attempt to finish this city. But now it's a very, very interesting idea. So what do you do as Self-Evident? We need to really think hard about this one. Do we fight for the field? There's a fields connection here, possible. Maybe that's the play, actually. Or there's a fields connection here like this with a farmer over here going into the field that way. What else can we do? There's actually a bit of crazy fields connection over here too with a farmer like this. I don't think it works though. Or maybe red can simply go over here and then trying to bring in this meeple because there's still 2 crossroads remaining. Yeah, you know, like the odds do seem to be in red's favor simply because of this crossroads idea. So which is why, as Yanochi, you may want, at some point, to drop your last meeple over here, and in case your opponent gets one crossroads, you get the other crossroads and connect like this. Certainly a very, very tense situation. Oh, moving the map to left. Yeah, there's... Okay, I'm moving the map to left a little bit, but there's like nothing special on the right. I was just showing this field connection which could occur. He does go for the field. Yanochi gets a starting tile. What do they do? Do they just... I think maybe they just score 4 points. And with these 4 points, create a reconnection opportunity for the field. So let's say like you go over here. If red connects, then we connect. And also, how many connecting tiles are there? Oh, he just gets a meeple back. Will he meeple the road? No, he decided he just needs to meeple the other stuff. Certainly understandable move as well. Self-evident now will have to go over here. And now as Yanochi, you need to come up with something special, do ya? I think it's coin flip time. Yeah, we just go over here, drop a farmer. That's the only move that I see. And that's how it works with these Brazilian field fights. It's just, ends up being a roulette. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 doesn't work. 1, 2, 3. Actually, maybe it does. Check this out. You go over here and drop a farmer like this to connect through the crossroads here. Because then you have not only the crossroads, but also the starting tile. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. There's one starting tile remaining, and there's also the crossroads remaining. So in fact, you only need one of the 2 tiles in order to connect. I really like this move. I think this is what blue should play. But will they see that? That's the issue. It has to be the strongest move, right? It's not blockable. Well, actually, no, it kind of is. Huh, that's interesting. I will need to actually look up the odds on this one, because here's the thing. There are also 2 crossroads. There's this one and this one as well. There's one more of those. So what can happen? If your opponent gets a crossroad first, they can break this. But what are the chances of that? Well, 50%, right? Because there are 4 tiles remaining. Half of them are crossroads. If your opponent doesn't get a crossroads now, you're pretty much guaranteed to connect. Actually, it's like 50 times 75. Okay, he just goes for the standard 50-50, which is understandable. But the coin flip comes. The Chinese player win, and China will take down this match. I think. Or will they? Because you know what? This farmer's still worth 3 points. And if this guy does not connect, and it's not a given that they will, oh, wait, but he could have gone for the content. He could have dropped the farmer here. I mean, maybe there's something I'm not seeing. Okay, so I think the remaining tiles should be... No. No. I think you had to meeple this. Because then self-evident scores 7 points. Okay, 5, 7, 4. So it was -1. But if we go here to 8, 5, Yeah, man, I think the Japanese player didn't manage to solve this endgame. The move was to go over here because the last remaining tile was a starting tile, so we knew that red was guaranteed to get 7 points over here. So we could have instead, as blue, scored an 8-point city, which is net 5-point city because you actually have to give your field to your opponent. But then your opponent would have 4 points here, only here. Okay, they would have 5 points over here. So it would have been, basically what I'm trying to say is that all this exchange, you just gotta trust me, would have been a net 0 as opposed to net minus. Oh no, it's a net 0 anyway. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Because Chris can just take the road here for 5 points. Yeah, it's all the same. But no, it still mattered. It still mattered. It was a mistake. Because if the tiles were reversed, if blue were to get the tile that goes here, then blue would have scored only 4 points for the road. So blue would be at net -1. Oh man! I should have moved it. Unknown events. Okay. Basically what was happening is like this, farmer, 4-point city, 4 red. Do you get the idea? Oh no, you didn't. Who was the starting player? I think it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wait, so what did this mean? So did this mean that Yanochi just could have won without fighting for the field? I think if instead of dropping their farmer, they just clean off the city cap at some point, then they win. Because I do believe it's a victory for the Chinese player, right? Or am I wrong? Yes, it is the Chinese player's win on the tie. Wow. What a scenario, what a scenario. And as you say, a history was made. Japan is out of the tournament for the first time ever. And we have to congratulate Team China on what was an incredibly close win and what looked like a winnable game for Japan with just more precise end gameplay. Wow. What a match. We still have to witness the remainder. Let's see how Keith Rum is doing against the Doctor. It's already 3-1 for China. It could be 4-1. It could be 3-2. Elias is saying there's a second thing. There will be such a thing as a second World Team Carcassonne Online Championship. For our newer viewers, I need to remind you that Japan won the first 3 years of the existence of the championship, and it's the one time where this will not be the case. I'm not sure if these players are aware. Maybe they don't know about the results of the other games. So they must play this game as if it matters. Nobody tell them in the chat anything. Nobody tell them in the chat anything. Because spectators shouldn't chat. Okay, full screen, zoomed out. We're ready to go and witness some great Carcassonne. Even though China has already won the match, I'm sure these players have pride and honor to play for. So, what I see is that the Doctor is playing the red meeples again, just to match the color on their country's flag. And he's up 7 points on the scoreboard. He has a nice 7-point monastery, which has good prospects. On the other hand, it is completely balanced with black's 8-point monastery over here. There's a 12-point field in the center, but that's balanced because there are 2 meeples for red and 2 meeples for black, so that's a tie. And the crucial point of the game will be this. You see, black is trying to take over a city. And the city will be worth a bunch of points. One will be worth like 12 points. There are 2 Doritos only that fit into this square, so 75% chance for black to get them. On his previous move, black placed this tile over here, seemingly adding 1 point to red's monastery. But in reality, what this did, it made this monastery meeple permanently trapped because there are no tiles left in the deck that fit into this hole. But there's another problem as a result. You see, the doctor tried to block Keith Rum's meeple again, and this led to a situation where there's only 1 city cap that fits over here. There's still 1 vanilla city cap, and that's the only tile that left to fit into the square. Of course, there are the 2 Doritos, but the Doritos are much needed over here. Meeple-wise, we also have something interesting. This monastery is actually live, because there's 1 dagger remaining that fits into this square. Actually, never mind, scrap that. Nope, it's deceased as well. Yeah, like very often when counting daggers, I count them from the wrong side. Keith Rum decides to get a meeple back for both sides at the expense of 1 point. Decided that, you know, a meeple is an important thing. The doctor is now probably going to take 2 points somewhere. It's just a question of where. I think the best spot is to go over here, pre-building a ruin, which you can, yes, exactly, use in the later stages of the game with your meeple majority. Kaika87 in the chat is making the observation that Pinjitron, the 2014 world champion and the former World Team Carcassonne Online Championship champion with Team Japan, is spectating the game, as is the player with the screen name Should, who for some reason is not playing today, and maybe that was the addition that the Japanese really needed for today. Pyro's also not playing today. Maybe a scheduling thing. Maybe they just decided that. Wow. The Japanese player being behind on the scoreboard makes what I think is a fantastic move. Risky? Sure. Very risky? Sure. But here's the idea. They're dropping a farmer and they're trying to connect through the Dorito that they're going to get. It's quite a very known tactic of how you can connect into the field efficiently. You double down on the tile that you need to use and saying that you can extract extra benefit from it. Now here's another idea. As Keith Rum, of course you got to go over here to protect your city, but that actually would be a mistake because you already need the Dorito tile here. So the way to protect your city, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is to go over here. And also, there's no point in connecting your farmer right now into the field, because if you don't get the triangle, you lose the game anyway. Exactly, he finds the strongest move, and as a result, this monastery will not be able to block Black City. So red will need to think something else productive to use this monastery. Like a monastery. Red could just like meeple this monastery for 6 points, for example. Or red could score 2 points over here, or score 2 points over here. There's a variety of things that red can do. High self-evidence. Congrats on the win. Yes, yes. Don't worry. I didn't have the game zoomed out, so actually my viewers did not see your mistake. Only I did. But it's fine. Actually, this mistake won you the game because yeah, you meepled a 0-point field, and that field ended up scoring 3 points, just the 3 points that you needed to win. The doctor is showing some extravagance here, by the way. He's saying, you know what, I'm okay. You can finish your city, but I'm going to get a meeple back. No, you're going to get a meeple back. I'm going to get an extra monastery point. That's just flexing his Carcassonne muscles over here. Steven Chan is saying Pentatron always playing perfect games. Most of the time, yes. I think they're just an absolute incredible player. I've seen them make a mistake like maybe once, and I've made a video about it. The video is called A Very Curvy Puzzle. It's a puzzle from an endgame that Pentatron didn't solve somehow, which was like, just shows that he's human. But yeah, obviously, incredibly strong player, not on Japan's roster this year. What's Keith Rum gonna do? Not much that he can do. Probably gonna dump this tile somewhere. Maybe just finish the city here. The game is really predicated on the Dorito and the city cap. Let's see if black manages to draw it. Well, Keith Rum managed to draw one of the tiles to get his meeple back. Oh, but the Doctor is going to score a filthy 7-point road for the win. Incredible. So now Keith Rum probably has to meeple the 6-point field and at the same time hope for the Dorito. I just don't see any other move. You can't leave this to your opponent. It certainly mandates some thought where exactly you put the straight line, and I think this is what the Japanese player is thinking about. Oh, great, self-evident, you remember the puzzle. Yes, yes, yes. Exactly, yep. And all the others, you have to go watch it and solve it. So what is Keith Rum gonna do? Oh, wait a second. I think they're thinking of another move. Maybe instead of meepling this 6-point field, maybe they're thinking of trying to... Oh! Maybe they want to win a 12-point field? Maybe they want to go here and connect through a curve? But there are no curves. No regular curves. But there is a Dorito with a curve. It all really depends on what exactly black needs for the win. So let's say these -3s are equal. Black is down 9 on the scoreboard, and then -17. If black goes here, black will be -11. Then black scores the city for 12 points. That black will be at +1. So in theory, this should suffice, right? And then black will have an extra meeple. So I do think the move is to just actually... Whoa! Oh, that's pretty cool. So apparently there's a starting tile remaining. Keith Rum does not get the Dorito. And I think he'll lose the game. But he's trying to get a 15-point field with a starting tile. That's pretty cool. But as Dr. Taihan, you should be okay with this. Once you've drawn the Dorito, you're just okay with meepling a 6-point field, and you know. Or you can go flashier and you can meeple a 5-point city, which will become a 6-point city when your opponent connects you into the field. Certainly many options, but once both of these Doritos have been drawn by the Doctor, the game has been sealed. Oh, look at this, just some finesse over here. You know what he's trying to do? He's pre-building a city. Because there's still one... Ah, no, never mind. Never mind. I think that was just a throwaway move. What's the doctor? Yeah, the doctor decides to meeple this. So maybe they should have just pre-built this city instead. A bit of an imprecision here towards the end. But what does it matter when Keith Rum doesn't have many moves to play? It was certainly a beautiful 15-point field takeover. Just not going to be enough. Oh, that's what the doctor was doing. Yeah, that was brilliant. The doctor, in case he were to draw this tile, he would finish the monastery and meeple the city immediately. That was such a cool idea. Okay, let me think about this. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think without the Dorito, Black didn't have any path to victory. But still, this field, amazing move from Black. But Red managed to parry all the threats and lead China to a convincing 4-1 victory with +8, which in East Asian Carcassonne is considered a big point difference. So congratulations to the doctor and everybody who bet on Team China and the fantasy Carcassonne, on which we're going to talk about later. But first, we are going to congratulate Team China. So let me sort out my cam. Wait. Never mind. I need to get my piano camera going. I hope it didn't run out of battery. If that's so, it's gonna take. It's gonna take a couple of minutes of preparation. In the meantime, do let me know in the comments. Do you have any questions for my special guest Daniel Cheng? Remind you that's LSC on the Board Game Arena, captain of Team Hong Kong, or share any other thought that you may have. It will take a bit of time. Juliana is saying the only Chinese player I have in my fantasy lineup is Metallica. You're not alone, actually. Many have selected Metallica, and literally the only player to have lost today. But I mean, we saw that game. That was just an absolutely incredible game. You ask me, do you think China will win the championship? It depends on what happens later tonight. It depends on who they're playing in the semis. But in all honesty, I think the winner of the championship will come from the left bracket. So between China, Latvia, Romania, or at least that's what I would hope. Oh, also, do you think Pinder will return in 2024? I don't know what their thoughts are. I think it's unlikely. Because they've been doing it for a long time, and I feel like maybe they're just not interested anymore. Yeah, that's true. I mean, self-evident is saying that the other 6 teams are also strong. Well, they wouldn't be in the semis if that weren't for them. If that weren't for them being strong. Actually, Daniel, I have a question for you. Are you in any way surprised by today's result. I mean, I'm slightly am. I was kind of like expecting China to win, but maybe I expect the match to be a little bit closer than it actually ended up being.
Yeah, it's well. I personally, I'm a bit surprised that they are managed that the big difference in points and 4-1. Yeah, but yeah, it's well. We haven't looked at the table 4 and not table 5, and the match in ending 2-0. Yeah, but yeah, it seems that they are in close range, and I mean, it's common to be the match in ends in deciders.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's actually true as well. But also one thing I was surprised is table number 5 for sure. I was expecting for Chris to take it down. I'm surprised at table number 3. That's the one table where I thought the Chinese had an edge, and table number 1 was like super close. Ended up being pretty much a coin flip for the entire game. And if anything, Yanochi there had a winning sequence, just didn't manage to spot it, possibly in time trouble. Well, actually, do let me know. What do you think in the chat? Like, who do you think will win the championship? 7 teams are now in contention.
I would guess the final will be between China and LCP, I guess. But
Well,
yeah, but it will be more or less like a conflict between them. So
yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I haven't made up my mind who I think will be the final champion.
Alrighty, I need to do a little bit of this. Okay. Juliano Apostata saying, "I can see Latvia, Spain in the final." I can see that too. Let's just see what happens tonight. I mean, I'd love that for sure. But yeah, we're gonna take it game by game. Oh, okay, finally. There we go. There we go. Okay. There we go. Every time there's something different and not all things are working always. I hope you're patient. Alrighty, finally. Wait, just sound check because I'm paranoid. Just somebody tell me if you can hear. Did you hear the piano? I need one yes in the chat or no. Okay, all good. All right, so then, congrats to Team China. All rise for the national anthem of China.
Oh, I thought you were something new.
Congrats to Team China. Of course, the camera shut down halfway through, but hopefully at least you were able to see the beginning. Alrighty, so now time for Fantasy Carcassonne and speculation for later today. Fantasy Carcassonne first. Actually, Daniel, I have to ask you first. So who's your fantasy five? Who you believe are the 5 strongest players across all countries in this championship? In the meantime, what I'm gonna do? Oh yeah, Daniel, unmute. In the meantime, what I'm gonna do? I'm also going to put the results from today, just so that you can. Well, I mean, okay. First of all, never mind. Yeah. I've already started putting the results in today. So China. Tomato Ken didn't play. Self-evident 1+1. Chris Traps lost -2, surprisingly, I think. Then what else? Pyro didn't play. Where the other Chinese meme 9 won. 2 versus 0. No, 2 versus 0. I think. Surprisingly, I have to review that game later. 202 Club also won 2-0. And what else? Snow Island. Snow Island actually won. So yeah, and they're now net positive. No, almost net positive. I think they're. And what else? And I think that's about it. And Bilal Ferry did not play today. So let's see how this changes the standings. These were the standings before. You can see, so Johan Notes was first. Bogdan Kurkan was second, who bet on his teammates. And now we're just going to sort this again and see how the results have changed after today's match. Sorry for taking a bit of time. I hope it's worth it. Right, let's go. So Johan Notes is still in the lead, but the lead is more commanding, and that is because he was one of the few players who chose Dr. Taihan, who won today, and he was one of the few viewers not to choose Metallica, who lost today. And I think Self-Evident Chu was chosen by a couple of people, but not any one of those. Nicholas Victor is climbing. That's very interesting, from 7th spot. And well, a lot will be decided today in the remaining matches, of course. But yeah, these are the standings. I'm going to scroll down just so that you can see where you are. Oh yeah, of course, Daniel, here, your standings. You are 10th. So you bet on... Oh, thank you. You bet on me. I will try and do my best to give you a fantasy Carcassonne point. But actually, you're getting a fantasy Carcassonne point anyway. Well, because I'm playing against Mars, so one of us is going to win, one of us is going to lose. And you choose both of us for your fantasy stream. Obviously, someone you know could win today. Did not win today because they did not play, which again was something that I'm very surprised. It did feel to me that they were in good shape. Okay. Oh man. Sorry about that. I hope you could understand something from my voice. It's not a technical issue. I just literally forgot to put the spreadsheet on. So there will be a time. There will be a time when things will run just like smoothly and seamlessly. Okay, at least you were able to hear the anthem. That's the important part. Anyway, we're just gonna go through again. I'm not gonna say much. I'm just gonna scroll through. But yeah. Johan Notes, Matt Tucker, who bet on himself, but he's no longer in the tournament. Bogdan Kurkan, who bet on his teammates. And what else? So I'm just gonna scroll through so that you can see your own results. And yeah, this is my special guest over here, also doing not too bad. Meeple the like button if you're still here. But if you're still here, you probably have. Yep. So these are the results. My pick is doing not too bad. Well, hopefully it does a bit worse after today. I picked Mars 15. I also picked Dr. Taihan, and so far it's absolutely paying off. They've won every single duel in which they participated, so a very strong performance here from the Chinese doctor. Also, by the way, Self-Evident or any other from Team China in the chat, do you know like what his specialty? Is he a general surgeon or did he have like did he have a focus? Because the reason I'm asking, it would be cool if we had like medics from different areas in the Carcassonne scene, because there is Vengi Lim, who's Ted the Naughty Bear, also rated over 700 quite frequently, who's a cardiologist. And then, of course, we had the twice world champion Pantelis Litsardopoulos, who has the screen name Dark Passenger 84 from Greece, who's a neurologist. And then we have Dr. Taihan, and it would be great if we had like a different area. I don't know, maybe a nephrologist or something like this. Anyway, enough of these stats. We're gonna wrap up by discussing the other matches and the brackets. So we go over here. And what do we see? China is now patiently waiting for their semifinal opponents. And also, in addition to that, China gets to send somebody to the World Championship, which is really big for them, because I'm not sure they had a chance to send a person to the World Championship through like regular qualifications, because I think there were some, correct me if I'm wrong, were there some issues organizing the national championship because of COVID or something like this? Juliana Apostate saying too many STEM players in the scene. We need more humanists. I mean, I'm doing my best. I'm literally a musician commentating. There's also Melvin Quaresma, who's a photographer, and Vinny Lessa, who's also a musician. So, Daniel, which team are you on? Team STEM or Team Humanities?
Well, I will be on the STEM path, definitely. Yes, I do the mathematics.
Oh yeah, I guess we figured from the World Cup calculator that you made for us. Yeah. Okay, we're in a losing battle here. Although of course I don't think about it as a battle or anything.
Yeah, it's not a fight. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So China actually gets to send somebody for the World Championship, and I wonder who that's gonna be. Like, how are you gonna decide that? Or is it just going to be? I'm very curious. Is that going to be like the captain's decision? Are they going to be an internal tournament? Are you going to pick an MVP or whatever? Well, anyway, yeah. Elias is saying go mathematicians. I know. I fully support mathematicians. Well, anyway, so China will be waiting for yeah.
Yeah, so I will be interested to know. So your team Latvia goes to the semi-final. How will you decide the ones to ascend?
It's actually a very easy decision. So I can tell you that I decided in advance before the tournament the criteria, a fair criteria that would select the player. Then the second thing, I decided not to tell it to my players, so that we don't think about fighting each other, but we think about winning games as a team. And then if we make the semifinals, I'm gonna take it after. But anyway, like if we make the semifinals, like selecting a player to go to this, and is the least of our problems. I'm pretty sure that the rest of the teams will be happy for whichever person is getting selected. Wait, what? I wish Kayan. What did you? Oh, I won J1. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no. The Chinese team is not facing Portugal in the semifinals. They're facing Latvia or Romania. You made me hallucinate for like a second. I won J1 semifinal, and then KL, and then Portugal. We're gonna look at this bracket. The winner of RCP France is going to place the best. Is going to face the best Iberian team. That is what's going to happen. Alrighty. Enough speculation. You're going to see the other matches. Oh, we need to check if there's going to be a stream for Latvia, Romania. I really hope there is. Nope, not yet, unfortunately. So if there is one, it probably should appear here at some point. But yeah, Portugal, Spain. Oh yeah, there is. Yes, it just wasn't here. Yeah, perfect. Elias Machan. Yes, awesome. Thanks, Elias. It is streaming on Twitch. So 18 UTC, you have to watch. And no Romanians in the chat. You have to root for Latvia, okay? Yes, already. Then that's going to be it. I don't know. I always have the feeling that I'm forgetting something important, but that's fine. If I forget, we'll just talk about it in the evening. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.